Hello class. Today we'll be going over volume of prisms and pyramids. Please make sure you make the appropriate notes so you can always refer back to or rewatch this video as many times as you need to. I have left notes in Google Classroom for you so you can copy them and write them down. Volume is the total capacity of three-dimensional object. Remember, it describes how much space the object takes up. To measure volume, we use cubic units. Remember, cubic units is measured with the three. It is three-dimensional, so we use feet cube, inches cube, meters cube. Whatever unit we're using, be sure to cube your units. Lastly, the base of the three-dimensional object, remember, it names the shape. So whatever the base shape is, remember, it names it. How do we solve volume problems? Remember, we always write our formulas down. I have provided those for you. You have to calculate area of the base, replace the variables with your values, and do the math to find the volume. So how do we calculate area of the base? You have to remember, is it a rectangle or is it a triangle base? And then you have to write the appropriate formula for that base, and then you're going to plug in and get the correct answer. Remember, whatever your answer is for your area, you're going to remember that this is your big B. Then you calculate volume by determining, is it a prism or is it a pyramid? So pay attention to when you're reading, is it a prism or pyramid? Then you substitute your numbers in, and then lastly you do the math and answer your problem with the correct units. So volume of prisms. Remember, to calculate volume of prisms, we have two different prisms that we're describing, rectangular prism and triangular prism. So here's the formula, for volume of prisms. Volume equals area of the base times the height. Remember, your big B is the area of the base. Remember, whatever the name of the shape is the name of the base. So if it's a rectangular prism, it's a rectangular base. If it's a triangular prism, it is a triangular base. Remember, area of the base requires a formula, so you have to use your A. Height is the height distance from base to base. Remember, height is located between the two bases. Determine the volume of each prism. Remember, to find the volume of a rectangular prism, first of all, you have to know that this is a rectangular prism, so the base is going to be rectangles. So we will shade those in and highlight them. And then we start with, it's a prism, so we use volume equals area of the base times the height. And then we begin with we have to calculate area of the base. So in order to calculate that, we have to start with finding the area of a rectangle, because those are our bases. Plug in our formula, area equals base times height. Plug in our numbers, 10 times 14, and then get our answer, which is 140 square centimeters. And then we go ahead and continue. Volume equals 140. Remember, that comes from here, and we plugged it in with our big B times 25, which is the height of the prism. And our answer will be, we multiply those two things, we get 3,500 cubic centimeters. Remember, another way we could do this is we do base times height times height. So we would do 10 times 14 times 25. We should still get the same answer. That's just a hint you can use. Determine the volume of each prism. Remember, now we're going to do a triangular prism. So that means the bases are triangles. So we're going to highlight our triangles, because those are our bases. And then remember we're dealing with a prism, so volume equals area of the base times the height. And then we would find the area of a triangle. Remember, area of a triangle requires area equals base times height divided by 2. The base of the triangle is 4. The height of the triangle is 5. And then we will multiply those together and divide by 2. And the area of one triangle is 10 square centimeters. Now we plug that in into our big B. So 10 is our area of the base is our big B. So 10 times 6. The height, remember the height is located between the two bases, 10 times 6. And we should have 60 cubic centimeters. All right, another way to do this is base times height divided by 2. So we can multiply 5 times 4 times 6 and then divide that by 2. Now we're going to go to pyramids. Remember we have two types of pyramids, rectangular pyramids and triangular pyramids. So pyramids are different. Remember pyramids, we have volume equals 1/3 the area of the base times the height. A pyramid is a third of a prism. So in order to find the volume of a pyramid, we divide it by 1/3, which means we're going to divide by 3. Remember big B, nothing's changed. It's the same as prisms. It requires a formula. The name of the shape is the name of the base. Height is different. Height, because we only have a vertex on a pyramid, we only have one base. That means we have it measures from the top of the pyramid to the very bottom, and we're going to go over what that looks like. So now we're going to determine the volume of a rectangular pyramid. Remember the base is a rectangle. So our formula now is a little different. Remember volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. And we have to go over what big B is. So we got to calculate the area of the base. Remember it is a rectangle. So we do base times height. And the base of the rectangle is 9. The height is 2. So 9 times 2 is 18 square centimeters. Now we plug that into our formula, which looks like this. Remember, a third means we're dividing by 3. Big B is 18. So 18 times the height. Remember, height starts at the very top and it goes all the way through is perpendicular to the base. So 18 times 8, remember a third means you're dividing by 3. So when we multiply 18 times 8, that gives me 144 divided by 3. Remember, you can also do a shortcut and do 3 into 18, which is 6, and that should give us 48. So that's just a different way of doing it. Also remember, you can use this as well. Base times height divided by 3. So you could do 2 times 9 times 8 and then divide that by 3. Now we're going to determine the volume of a triangular pyramid. Remember the base is a triangle. So it is a pyramid, so volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. The base is a triangle, so we got to calculate the area of the base. So area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Now on a triangle, you have to remember that the base and the height is located between the right angle. That's a good way to remember it, and not the slant. You don't want to calculate whatever number is here. So it's always located between the right triangle. So base times height divided by 2. So 8 times 6 times 8 times 6 is 48, and divide that by 2. and the area of the triangle is 24 cubic square units, excuse me. So we now are going to substitute in our values. Remember, a third means we're dividing by 3. So our area of the base we just calculated, which is 24. 24 times 8, which is the height. Remember, the height is from the very top all the way to the bottom of the base. So 24 times 8 is 192 divided by 3. Another way to do this is if I divide 3 into 24, that is going to give me 8. 8 times 8 will also give me 64 cubic units. Remember, a different way to do this is base times height divided by 6. So I could do 6 times 8 and then divide that by 6. Now you're going to complete the strength training practice problems. Remember, we will go over them in our Zoom meeting tomorrow, so please be prepared, and this will count towards your grade. Please show your thinking, because I'm going to ask you guys to verify your thinking so I can see how you guys are doing. Thank you. See you tomorrow.